Mary, thank you for coming along today. As I explained to you in the telephone, the purpose of this meeting is primarily for me to introduce myself to you, to give you some explanation about the mediation process, what we're trying to do here, how it works, and also to hear a little bit about the situation from yourself. What you should understand is that when parties are referred to mediation, we tend not to have a lot of background information, so it's very important that I hear from you what your concerns are, what you're hoping to resolve at mediation. If you don't mind, what I'd like to do just for a few minutes is talk about mediation in the process, and then obviously I want to hear from you as well. Now, I've sent you out some forms, and I thank you for sending these back in. It gives me some basic information, and I've also sent you out conditions of mediation. There's a few things on that I'd like to just highlight just about the mediation process. First of all, mediation is a voluntary process, okay? Nobody is forcing you to come here. You're coming here because hopefully you and Roger will be able to discuss the issues that you have and come to some sort of arrangement that suits everybody. But it's voluntary. If at any time during the process you feel it's too much or you don't feel it's working for you, you can say that to me and the mediation process stops. My role as mediator, I am impartial, so I'm not taking either side, I'm not representing either of you. Your solicitors do that, that's their role. And I'm not a judge either. I'm not here to judge what you say or what Roger says. That's the sheriff's role if the matter were to go to court. What I'm here to do, I'm an experienced family law solicitor, and I've also been accredited as a family law mediator. And with that training, what I hope to do is give you the benefit of that experience and training to help the two of you talk through the issues, identify what it is that's concerning you, what has to be addressed, and hopefully find solutions for you. One of the main things I do to highlight this question of impartiality, one of my tasks is to make sure that you both get a chance to be heard. Sometimes when people come to mediation, one party may talk a bit more, may be a little bit stronger than the other, and it's one of my roles is to make sure that you get a chance to speak, that Roger listens, and then of course Roger gets a chance to speak as well, and you listen to what he's got to say. And the listening part is a very important part of mediation. It's not just each of you stating what your views and concerns are. It's also very important that you listen to what each says, because very often what happens in mediation is that when parties separate and then they come to mediation, we find that there's a breakdown of communication. What we're trying to do here in mediation is look for solutions to short-term problems, of course, but also to look longer term. Now, I appreciate Lindsay's 15, is that right? Mm-hmm. And William is it 11?
He's 11, yeah.
Yes, but Katie's still 5, so there are going to be many years ahead of you where the two of you are going to have to work together for the benefit of the children. And we are looking at that longer term arrangement as well. The problem with court is it can find an answer or a solution for the short term, but doesn't necessarily get the two of you talking and working together longer term. One final aspect about a mediation before I stop talking and let you talk as well is confidentiality. What we discuss in mediation is confidential, so I can't tell your lawyers what we've been talking about, and I cannot be called to go to court. Now, there is a reason for that, and that's to help the two of you, to encourage you to speak a bit more openly without worrying about whether whatever you say will be taken by Roger back to his lawyer or to the court. So everything that we talk about here remains confidential.
See.
Okay. Do you have any questions about these matters that I've raised?
No, not
okay.
so far.
And as far as the process is concerned, today I'm going to just, as I say, stop talking, let you talk and give me some information about what your concerns are, what's been happening. I'm then going to meet with Roger as well, alone, and obviously explain the same things to him about the mediation process and hear from him. And after that, I'll bring the two of you together with me and we'll talk more directly and try and address the concerns that you've got. And each mediation session, once we do start the joint sessions, each session will last about an hour and a half. And we don't know how many sessions will be required. That very much depends on how much progress we make in each session.
Right.
Okay. So would you like to tell me a little bit about some of the concerns you have at the moment?
Well, I mean, the main problem is that, I mean, I want the children to see their father. Of course, I want them to see their father, but he doesn't seem to understand that. I mean, maybe not so much with Katie, who's just 5, but the others have got their own lives. They've got friends. They've got things they do. You know, they've got BB and ballet lessons and things, and he just wants to turn up and see them when he's free. Now, I mean, I know he's in the police, so he works shifts, but I mean, he'll have some sort of rota, and I feel like he'd plan ahead a bit. And then I don't know whether it's maybe because he's in the police and he's used to just telling people what to do, but I just feel he bullies me, and he just turns up and says, I want to see the children, and it's though I'm the bad person if I say it's not suitable. And I would just like there to be some agreement or some way we could agree when he sees them, and then they get upset if I say, you know, they've got to do their homework, go to bed, they can't see their dad, and then he gets upset and everyone's upset.
Okay.
So I would just like some way that we could not end up just having these shouting matches.
Okay. So I understand you separated at the end of June, is that right? Yeah. So it's been a few months since you separated, and has there been any particular arrangement, or has it all just been very ad hoc?
He just says, I want to see the children now. And I mean, it's not so bad. It wasn't so bad over the summer holidays, but, you know, as soon as the children went back to school, then it just, you know, the whole thing's impossible now.
Okay. So you think it would be quite helpful to have an understanding and a bit of a routine agreed,
I mean,
so that he sees the children at set times?
Yes, because I mean, I'm sure he must have a rota. He could look up and say, "Can I see the children on these days or whatever?" The other thing that worries me is that he drinks a lot, and he worked very long hours to get promotion, so he didn't bother with the children all that much. And then I'm worried that if he's going to be with the children, you know, is he going to have come in from the pub? He's going to be drunk, or he's going to try? I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't drive. Well, I hope he wouldn't drive when he'd been drinking, because he's a police officer. Yeah. But you know, there's just all of these issues that and he won't talk to me about any of this. He just thinks I'm making it all up and I'm exaggerating. You know,
it can often be very difficult when parties separate. Communication is one of the first things that tends to break down, and that in turn causes difficulties when you're trying to make these arrangements when there are children involved. So what you'd like to do is obviously find some structure that suits the children, it suits you. I'm assuming you're quite happy to be flexible around his shifts as well.
Well, yeah, I understand. Okay. He works shifts, yeah.
Okay, but just a better line of communication. I mean, do you talk much at all about the children and what they're doing at school or their activities, or has that been difficult as well?
Well, that's been quite difficult as well. Partly because I suppose I resent the fact that he's suddenly taking an interest in the children when he was only interested in his career before. And now it's as though he's trying to pretend he's this really interested father that he never was before. So I suppose I get a bit annoyed, which is not really probably fair.
Okay. So to discuss how often Roger sees the children and the arrangements surrounding that, are there any other issues that are of a concern?
Well, I mean, obviously the whole money thing, you know, my husband dealt with all the money, so I really don't know what's happening there. And obviously, I mean, he's paying the bills at the moment and giving me some money, but I mean, I really don't know whether it's going to be enough. Or I'm also worried that if after we've some argument, supposing he just says he's not, you know, he's stopping the money, what will I do then?
Mm-hmm. Has he ever threatened to do that?
I don't think he's actually threatened to do it, but it's always in my mind that I just feel as though he rules the roost. He can decide about everything because he's the one with the big salary, so he can just cut off the money supply or see the children or not see the children. And I just feel I just don't know. I don't know what's happening with anything in my life now.
Okay. Well, obviously, we need to hear from Roger as well, and obviously I'll speak to him and try and identify the concerns that he has. What are you hoping to achieve from mediation?
Well, I just feel that if my husband would say that until we decide what's happened long term about money, that he would definitely pay a regular sum of money, and that he would see the children at regular times, and if there was some emergency he couldn't see them, that he would get in touch and say that he couldn't see them, because he doesn't seem to understand that. I mean, he just goes off, and I've got children that are upset. I've got children that don't understand, particularly Katie. She's only 5. She doesn't understand why her dad's not at home, and then she's all excited because she thinks he's going to be there, and then he doesn't turn up. And I mean, I don't think he understands what it's like.
Okay, so a better line of communication would help as well to get the two of you talking a bit more about arrangements and about the children.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's this whole thing that I never know if he's going to phone or text or leave a message or just turn up at the door. And sometimes it's as though he still lived there and he just turns up, and then other times he's kind of saying, well, it's not his home anymore, and the whole thing's, the children are confused, everything's just a mess.
Okay, and you'd obviously like to get all of that cleared up and be a little bit more certain about arrangements for the children, about finances.
Yes.
Well, so hopefully we can do that through the mediation process.